everyone, and welcome to our YouTube channel, Moneyline with Nancy at TV. In case you're not a subscriber yet, please do subscribe. Just press the subscribe button as well as turn on the notification bell so that you can get notifications when we upload our videos. Don't also forget to subscribe and join, follow, like our other social media platforms. Of course, you're seeing it right about now. Don't also forget to share this video across your platforms. Enjoy the video. Services and client experience at the CSCS, the Central Security Clearing System. She's also the chair of the transition committee that involves different stakeholders. Good morning, Onome, and welcome to the program. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning, Nancy. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and I'm responding. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Good morning. How are you doing today? Now,
I'm very well.
Now, let's get started. I would like you to walk me through the logic behind this transition. We understand that this transition will be done November 28th, which is this Friday. So speak to me about the logic behind this transition, beyond perhaps simply aligning with global best practices.
Okay, thank you very much, Nancy, and very good question, which is basically why are we moving to T+2? Very key reason, which is something that I'm very passionate about, is the fact that a reduction in settlement cycle, whether to T+2 or T+1, every time you reduce the settlement cycle, you free up capital. There's more liquidity in the market. So instead of tying up capital for 3 days, before you can reuse the capital, you get to use it within a shorter time. And so that is one very important benefit of reducing the cycle. Another key thing about reduction in cycles is the fact that it also reduces your risk. Whatever, if you look at counterparty risk, maybe the possibility of your counterparty not settling, whatever other market risk around this. What does this mean? It means that the earlier that you are able to receive whatever settlement you are expecting, the less the probability of a default in the market. And so a reduction in settlement cycle also reduces the risk around the settlement cycle. So I think that's also something very important and very key that we have to also look at. And the third thing is, and you said, let's not even talk about the aligning with global practice. The third and very important thing is that it also attracts foreign investors, attracts more local investors, even in the market. So I think that this reduction in settlement cycle is very important for us as an economy in terms of the liquidity in the market, the reduction in the risk in the market, and also the ability to also increase investors' confidence in our markets.
Are there some perhaps risk factors or market inefficiencies that the T+3 would leave still exposed to the T+2? Or are there some things that other inefficiencies that the market would not pass through as a result of this T+2? I hope you understand my question.
So your question is that how does T+2 cure the current inefficiencies?
Exactly, yes. And if there are some inefficiencies T+3 had that we'll still have in T+2.
So to take it from the last part of your question, there are no efficiencies from T+3 that will be carried on to T+2. A reduction to T+2 will actually cure all the inefficiencies that we have in T+3, again, because the cycle has been reduced. And what are these inefficiencies? Some of them, for example, is operational. You will see that a lot of stakeholders are going to make investments, which they've started doing, around their back office operations to ensure straight-through processing, seamless integrations across various systems, even from the exchanges to the CSD to the brokers. So those inefficiencies, again, are being cured by this reduction in cycle. Are there inefficiencies that we will see from a T+2? Definitely not. One of the things that you will also see is that part of what the committee has done, the implementation committee, is also to advise the market a new default framework, again, based on the reduction in cycle. So the T+2 actually is taking us to better efficiencies, curing inefficiencies that currently exist in the market. And so from that point of view, you see that I think the T+2 is here for, and maybe if further reduction, if possible, is to cure more inefficiencies as we go on.
You chair the transition committee. Speak to me about the transition so far. Has there been a testing, or it will go, that's live on Friday would be the test? Has there been a testing behind the scenes?
To answer you directly, yes, there's been a testing, and I'm very happy to announce to the market that the testing was 100% successful, and the testing was done across all the stakeholders in the market, the exchanges, the CSCS, the brokers, the registrars, the settlement banks, everyone was part of that testing process, and it was 100% successful. So there are no issues. We don't expect any issues with the transition at all. So testing has been very, very successful.
So you didn't witness, okay, sorry, you didn't witness any operational bottlenecks or even behavioral bottlenecks, as it were?
Not at all, not at all. Remember again that the planning committee comprises of every stakeholder in the market. So we've all engaged across the whole market. And so even in preparation for the testing, everyone was prepared. And it's actually something that we need to commend all stakeholders for in terms of the readiness, the technical readiness, the operational readiness for T+2 in the markets.
Ms. Komolafe, we shouldn't take people for granted or assume that everyone understands what we are talking about in terms of the technicality. I do understand, of course, that the CSCS is the engine room of settlement, but for the benefit of those watching us today and don't understand what you've been saying or I've been saying, T+3, T+2, what's that again? Please just explain in basic primary form what this T+2 or what the settlement means or why it is necessary. Just explain as if you are talking to a primary 6 child or pupil.
So, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So today, if you want to invest in the stock market, you will go to your broker, fund your broker's account or give your broker account details that the fund will come from, and your broker will take those funds and maybe buy certain shares based on what you have specified for you. Today, for example, maybe being a Monday, and so that money will be taken from your account on Monday. Now, in today's system, which is T+3, today, Monday is T. And T+3 means 3 days after T, which is Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On T+3, which is Thursday, is when you will get that stock that you want to buy, or if you are selling, and then that is, if you are, for example, if you are selling, on Thursdays when you will get the cash. So when we say settlement date is T+3, we are saying Monday is T, 3 is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and that means that you don't get value as an investor until 3 days after you have expressed interest in the market. But what we are now saying to you as an investor in the market is that has been reduced to 2 days. So effective November 28, for trades that are done on November 28, instead of them to settle on Wednesday following, which ordinarily would have been T+3, you would have access to your cash on Tuesday, December 2nd, and you have access to your stock on Tuesday, December 2nd. That is what T+2 is. So it gives you faster access to your assets or to your stock, and faster access to your cash than you have in today's markets.
Do you think that with this transition, it will improve liquidity? It will improve that sentiment that we've seen towards the capital market, perhaps for bringing in more investors? That's one. The other question is global best practices. We even have T+0. That day you buy, you're smiling, you know what I'm saying, it's true. Yes. That day you buy is the day you get your cash. So now it's taking us quite a while to do T+3 to T+2. Yeah. How long will it now take us to even get to T+1? Or perhaps with this now, will this be a faster route to like T+0 and we escape the T+1? You know, I'm thinking aloud, and I don't know what you and your colleagues at the CSCS are thinking about and the kind of discussions that you're having in your rooms about how fast settlements can go in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Nancy. A very valid and very relevant question. Is T+2 going to increase liquidity in the market? Definitely it will increase liquidity. So for example, instead of, if you have a transaction today, Monday, instead of having access to your cash on Thursday, you would have access to that cash on Wednesday, and then you can take further investment decision on that cash. So that's a clear case of increase in liquidity within the market, because again, the cash is available at a faster timeline than it ordinarily would have been. So there's a reduction by 1 day to enable you to take other investment decisions around the cash that is available. Now, what are the plans for that to T+2, T+1, T+0? Part of the recommendation that the committee had made to the SEC was that we would go live on T+1 next year, which is 2026. There's a conditional approval around that, which we are working on those conditions. And so we are very, very optimistic that we might be looking at T+1 even in 2026 once those conditions have been met. So again, a T+0 is something that the market would really want to go onto, but I think that when you compare with global alignments and global standards, most of the capital markets are currently on T+1, maybe T+2 going on to T+1. So I think T+1 is something that we will want to bed next year, and then thereafter we can now look at the possibility of T+0, or what people call atomic settlement, which will be instant settlement. But a T+1 is definitely what we are working to after this time.
Ms. Komolafe, this transition that we're going to see, what segments of the market will it impact on, or is it a potpourri of both retail, institutional, and perhaps foreign investors? Will it affect all of us at the same time, or you're looking at retail first and we gradually move on to institutional, or perhaps all of us at the same time?
It's all of us at the same time. The settlement cycle is for everyone. The reduction will impact everyone at the same time. When we go live on November 28, every trade that is done on November 28 will settle 2 days after trade date, irrespective of whether it's retail or corporate or foreign investors. The T+2 is across every sector and every segment of the economy.
What tangible upgrades are we expecting, perhaps around technical, operational? I heard you clearly earlier on when you said you did the test run and everything was good, but I assume, as someone staying outside, that perhaps this must have also needed some upgrade, either technically, either operationally, either what do they call, reorientation of your staff, and all of that, regarding the process or the procedure required at the CSCS to get this done.
Okay, so in terms of what has been done, again, like I said, every stakeholder is part of the implementation committee. So we have done a technical gap analysis across various stakeholders, and what we had done at that committee level was to ensure that all the technical gaps were closed, even before we did the testing. We have also advised the market a new default framework, how to manage defaults under the new dispensation of T+2. Also, there's been a lot of awareness campaign going around, just sharing with the different stakeholders and every investor in terms of what T+2 would entail. So how ready are we from a stakeholder point of view? Because again, we have that advantage of having representation from all stakeholders, including the settlement bank, the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, the brokers, the registrars, the exchanges, CSCS. We have that advantage. We also have representation from the custodian group as well. We have the advantage of being able in a single place, in a single hub, to have those conversations and have those confirmations around readiness across the market. So I can assure you that we have that confirmation across the market. So technical readiness, operationally, yes.
Yeah. So what you are guaranteeing and what you are assuring us as Nigerians is that brokers, dealers, everyone is ready now for T+2 come November 28th at this Friday.
Very, very ready. Very, very ready, yes.
Very, very ready. I wish I would have been in Lagos, to see that come up.
You don't even have to be in Lagos, wherever
Would
you
there be
are.
a launch? Would there be a formal launch around it? Or nothing will happen? We'll just...
There would be a press conference on Friday.
Okay, because that's what I'm assuming. That's why I said it would have been, if I could, it would have been nice to be in that environment. But yes, that is if there was something that would be done formally around that. But if not, I know that I must not be in Lagos to see it happen.
But you can drop a request to your broker and maybe do a transaction to just be part of it. So at least you can say that, the first T+2 transaction in Nigeria, your deal was part of it.
My deal was part of it. So you're assuring us as investors and as Nigerians that nothing will happen, that we stand gidigba. Nothing.
Absolutely, we are so ready. I mean, our test, usually when you do test it 99%, we had 100% test result in terms of success.
So why are you having that rate of success? Let me now coin the question the other way, because sometimes we look for challenges. Now, for that 100% success, why did you have that 100% success? I heard you earlier on out talking about the synchronization with key stakeholders, but why did you think that you recorded 100% success in terms of synchronization behind the scenes before it goes live November 28th?
Again, that comes with the level of preparedness of every stakeholder, the level of commitment, towards this by every stakeholder. I think that is the major reason why we've been able to, achieve and go far on this project so far. Every stakeholder is very, very committed. And so that 100%, I almost say that was to be expected based on the commitment we've seen from every stakeholder group in terms of this transition.
Let's talk about investors' education and perhaps the communication even from your transition committee. How prepared or how aware do you think that an average investor is about this? I know you just said that you're going to have a press conference on Friday, but what is the level of public education on this? What is CSCS doing to be able to even inform people, retail participants, perhaps apart from what you're even doing on my program this morning? Ms. Komolafe, I'm afraid I can't hear you anymore.
Part of the mandates from a committee level is that every stakeholder is also running a campaign, an awareness campaign. So you have brokers running campaigns. You even have the regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission, also running an awareness campaign on this. So there is a lot of campaign, especially on the social media. We've done webinars. This conversation we're having now is also part of the awareness that we believe is also important as well. So we believe that the average investor, we've also sent emails to every investor in the capital markets.
I don't know if I've gotten one from you. I don't know if I've gotten.
I'm sure your broker would have sent you one. I am certain you have received from your broker.
Okay, I'll check. Let me not be too let me not be too factual on that. But from CSCS, I know I didn't get though. But
no, CSCS probably will not be sending
yes,
to you directly, yes. But your broker will be sending.
Because everyone has a CSCS number, as it were now, a clearing.
Yes.
Yeah, Okay, so let's take a look at how does the CSCS and other key stakeholders judge the success of this T+2 moving forward? Assuming, let's say, 3 months' time, 6 months' time. Are there specific KPIs you guys have given yourselves? Or it doesn't matter because everything went to 100% pre-life, and you assume it's going to happen like that going forward?
No. So part of the work the implementation committee has is that we have various subcommittees. There's a committee on technical readiness. There's a subcommittee on awareness. There's also a subcommittee on post-go live.
Okay.
So that subcommittee has responsibility to check and ensure that post-go live certain metrics have been met. Metrics around liquidity. When we speak about liquidity, Yes, but these are measurable metrics. Has there been improvement in liquidity in terms of, for example, the risk reduction around this? What do we have? Is there more investor confidence? Are there more investors in the market? So that's part of what the post go live subcommittee will be working on. And
So
these
you've
are
given
very important.
yourself, in essence, KPIs across board.
Yes, across board. Yes, post go live.
So you guys will be auditing yourselves. Would it be made known to press?
Definitely.
Or let me just say it, will it be made open to people like us?
We will be communicated. Part of what we are also doing is also to share with the public a help desk in
Okay.
terms of email and telephone number. So you can actually give us feedback because again, that will be useful for the post go live committee. We need to know what the investors' opinions are, what the feedback is, what the market is saying. This also will be communicated before Friday. So post go live, we should be able to get all that information. And yes, this will public information. It will be public information.
How about this scenario as we enter T+2, that everything is done but cash is not dropped at the T+2 day? What happens?
That is a near impossible scenario. I can almost say that that is very unlikely to happen. Remember that today, the way the Nigerian market operates is that we have access to CBN funds in terms of settlement of cash. So the probability of not receiving cash is nil because you would receive cash after every trade, irrespective of whether it's T+2 or
Or
T+3.
T+3? To what extent is this T+2 the beginning of what I would call a broader market modernization for Nigeria? What other, at least the market has experienced, a few reforms in the last few years. The capital market now is even operating on the capital market master plan, I think, which will end this year. Perhaps there will be a 2.0 version of it. So what part of this is part of the broader market modernization plan? And are there other complementary reforms that may be needed or that could be underway that could deepen that efficiency, that could bring in more retail investors, that could bring in even our youth demography into the market, more transparency and global integration?
Okay, thank you very much, Nancy. Very good question. And just taking it from where you stopped in terms of global integration, one of the things that we're looking at as a market is being able to have cross-border transactions. For example, you could be in Ghana and be able to trade in Nigerian shares. And that's something that we're looking very, very hopeful that very soon that's something that would go live and we will be able to have cross-border transactions, at least starting with the West African region. That's something that is being worked on now. Another key thing is also, like you have said, is to improve the demography of investors to the younger generation of investors. And so just reduce the average age around investors in Nigeria. And one of the ways we think that would happen is also to make entry into the market very seamless via mobile applications, data synchronization across the market. We believe that that is something that is very critical in attracting the younger demography into the capital market. And so that's also something that is being worked on in terms of if you are able to get people, for example, to onboard into the capital market via an app, be able to trade immediately via a mobile app. We believe that would also encourage the younger ones to also come into the market. Another thing that we're looking at from a market point of view is also to create as much as possible different self-service options across the various stakeholders, from the brokers to the registrars, such that certain services can be done by those stakeholders with little interactions with CSCS. Again, we don't want to go further down the line and speak about tokenization and DLT. That would be for the regulator, and like you have said, the master plan for the SEC ends in December this year. We also hope that as the new master plan is published, we would also see some of this coming from the regulator as well.
Okay,
Thank you.
Ms. Komolafe, as we end this interview, looking back and looking ahead, as the chair of the Transition Committee, what important lessons do you think that we can learn, we as Nigerians, from perhaps the T+3 which we've had before? Then you as even stakeholders, key stakeholders, CSCS, SEC, NGX, and what have you, what kind of lessons do you think that this has actually taught you all?
One lesson I would immediately speak to is the fact that at any point in time as a market, we should be at the crux in terms of tipping edge technology, the best in technology. I think that's very important. Even where you're not doing a transition or you're doing a transition, it's easier. One of the learning points is just make sure that at any point in time you are making that investment in technology. Again, that will make it easier for you to be able to transition to better options, operational efficiencies. It's just easier for you. So we believe that at any point in time, every stakeholder in the market should be able to make the right investments in the right kind of technology for the market to enable this kind of transitions to happen seamlessly. Another key learning point for us is that communication is also very important. As you engage in reforms, it's important that you communicate, you collaborate across various stakeholder groups. Communication and collaboration, very important, so that everybody have a single understanding in terms of the objective and how to get there. So those for me are two key things. The technology that we deploy, even if there is no transition to anything at any point in time, should be top notch. And then there must be continuous collaboration and communication within the markets.
I think we'll leave it at that. Perhaps, I assume we've looked at all the nitty-gritties concerning this topic. Or is there anyone left? Tell me, did I cover most of the issues?
You did. And just to say at this point in time that we would like as many investors as possible to trade on Friday, November 28th, as we look forward to going live on T+2.
Okay.
And thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you. Perhaps I'll talk to my broker. Let me do something on Friday. Just buy a few stocks and see if I'll get it on Tuesday. Let's see. If not, I'll drag you here.
You will not need to. You will only bring me here to just give me my flowers and
your flowers. Okay, fantastic.
And
Anyone, yes. Because if one does well too, there should be reward for it. So thank you for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
All right, thank you. All right, I've been speaking with Onome Komolafe, who is the Divisional Head, Business Services and Client Experiences at the CSCS. She's also the Chair of the Transition Committee. Something big is happening, especially if you're an investor in the capital market. Even if you are not an investor and you want to enter, what it means now, what I've been saying, at least in the last couple of minutes with Ms. Komolafe, is the T+2 will give you faster access to cash, it will give you faster securities delivery, and most importantly, improve confidence. So if you buy something, let's say on Friday, they are starting, your cash will hit your account on Tuesday, unlike what we had previously, T+3. That's the show today. I hope you've learned a lot from today's edition. If you have, please join me again tomorrow on this station. If you haven't, we'll try our best tomorrow again. So please join us again. I am Nancy Naji. Be the best you can be. I'm going to change that you want to see. I'll see you all again tomorrow. AIT Reports is up next. Bye for now. Thank you for making it up to this minute watching the video. Thank you all. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Moneyline with Nancy TV. Like, follow all our other social media platforms where we keep you up to speed with fantastic interviews, as well as markets, personal finance, business, and economy information. This is the best place to be. I'll see you all again in the next video.